Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Hockey at the Hall. This is your host, Anthony DiPaolo.
And I'm Sean Clancy. And we're coming at you from a Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, December. What December is it?
17th.
December 17. You know what that means?
It's less than a week until Christmas Eve.
That's less than 10 days, Anthony.
That's less than 10 days.
So it's time to get fired up. It's Christmas. It's snowing outside. And you know what? You know what day today is?
What?
It's National Maple Syrup Day.
Ooh.
So if you're not waking up one of these days and you're going out to IHOP, you got to get a fat stack of pancakes, pour some maple syrup all on top of them. Oh, it's tremendous.
And for the Devils Insiders fans that are now listening, as we've officially partnered up with them, this is the kind of stuff I get to deal with. But then again, I wouldn't trade it for anything else. How are you, Sean?
I'm good. I'm pretty good this morning, even though I had a little car troubles getting here. But everything's good. It's Tuesday. And Christmas is right around the corner, Anthony. Did you start your Christmas shopping?
A little bit. I need to...
Who are you buying gifts for? For mom and pop?
Yeah, my mom and dad, my brother, who I already got one gift for, which I won't say just in case he happens to listen to this podcast, my little sister, and my grandma, who also lives in town. So we're going to be going over to her house for a Christmas brunch. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, very nice. You got a girl? You getting any gifts for any lady friends?
Not yet.
Not yet. No lady friends for Anthony?
That's maybe somewhere down the road. But
for all those ladies out there, Anthony,
Yeah.
He's looking to get hitched. He's a handsome guy. He's got curly hair.
Well, how about them Devils?
How about them Devils? They finally picked up a W.
They got another shutout. Martin Brodeur with his 124th of his career.
Yep. Me and you were both at that game
And
against Tampa Bay. Tremendous game.
And you were in the stands. I was in the press box.
Yeah, you were in the press box. I had a better view than you were all the way up in the nosebleeds.
Hey, it's something I've always said. I think that the nosebleeds are very underrated, especially for hockey, because you can really see everything.
There's no bad seats at a hockey game. And these tickets, too, I got them off StubHub. People, if you get your tickets, if you're still living in this day and age where you get tickets off Ticketmaster or the Devil's website or whatever, you pay $50, stop it. Stop what you're doing and go on StubHub.com, okay? StubHub will get you tickets I got mine for $15 each, Anthony. For the Ottawa game tomorrow night, right now they're going for $12 and $13 cheapest.
Ooh.
So get on StubHub.
Tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, yeah.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I will get one, but
I'm already going to that game. I already got my... And I actually... I know I'm going with a friend who has season tickets down in the black seats. So I didn't buy anything for tomorrow night. I got my connections through friends. But yeah, the tickets that I had was $15, and it was up center ice up in the Crazies, the upper deck, first row of the upper deck, and it's a beautiful view. It's a perfect seats. I got my little cousin Tyler after his first game, a little 8-year-old adorable. He's got SpongeBob teeth because all the other ones didn't fall out yet except the two front ones. I had that problem too. It's adorable though.
I think the game against the Canadians, I was up in the upper deck, center ice though, and because there weren't that many people, I was able to go right down to the mezzanine. The security guards weren't even checking, so just a little hint for the Ottawa game, maybe something you can pull off.
That's another thing we have to mention now. The attendance this year at Devils games has not been good. After selling out nearly every home game last year, the Devils are now like 26th or 27th in the league in terms of attendance this year, which is really saddening. Now, I know that's mostly because of the owners, because even I haven't had a desire really to go to a Devils game. The only reason that I really wanted to get up and go to this other game was because I wanted to get my two little cousins out there to see a game. Other than that, I haven't really, especially with this whole goal song change and then all the problems you've been hearing about the voucher deal or whatever, and then they didn't have enough seats for people. So the attendance has been really disappointing. Now, the Tampa Bay game, I understand it was snowing out, so it's a little bit...
And you know what? I mean, the official attendance, I was able to hear it up in the press box, 13,832. And it really looks spread out, so it didn't look too bad. And I will say this.
It looked pretty bad.
It looked pretty bad right before puck drop. But I think as the first period was going, people literally just started filing in. And like before I knew it, I just saw these fans out there below me. So, I mean, I guess because I mostly saw one side of the rink, because when you're when you're up at the press box, it's hard to see all the fans on the other side. So, were you on the Fire Lounge side or the Ice Lounge side?
I was on the side where the Devils logo's upside down.
It's upside down. Okay, you're on
Yeah.
the Ice Lounge side.
Okay.
Then
What'd you say they announced the official attendance as? 13,800?
1,832.
That seems inflated. That might be the amount of tickets they sold. That's not how many people were in that arena. That arena was half full at best. I'd put it somewhere between maybe 8,000 or 9,000 people.
But you said something about the
Like a Florida Panther game.
you said something about the owners taking away the desire to go to the game. I mean, I really have to disagree with you. I mean, yeah, the goal song, the voucher, whatever, but in my mind, it still doesn't take away from what's going on in the ice. It's still a hockey game. It's still the New Jersey Devils, and although they are somewhat struggling this year to get back to the 500 mark, they're still a very exciting team to watch.
Well, yeah, that's another issue, too. The on-ice product hasn't been all that great this year. So, obviously it's expected that that's going to have some effects in terms of attendance. I'm just saying overall, though, it's disappointing, which is why I'm telling people, $13 on StubHub. You want some nice Christmas gifts for the kids? Bring them out to a Devils game.
Yes,
You get these
absolutely.
tickets on StubHub for less than $20. Take the train to the game. It's a great deal, Anthony.
Yeah,
You don't find any better.
It really is.
Eat in the McDonald's in Penn Station before you go into the arena, because the arena, that's where they get you. That's where I got 2 hot dogs, 2 drinks, and a basket of fries, and it was like $28 or something in the arena. I could get, for $28, you want to know what I could get at McDonald's?
what?
Diabetes.
Oh my god.
You get the entire menu for $28 at McDonald's.
That was probably one of the wittiest things I've heard you say, Sean. So props to you. I thought that was very funny. But Saturday during the Lightning game, I also went to the Seton Hall basketball game right before. So 2 trips to the Prudential Center, and I did not spend a dime that day.
Good. Good for you. Good for you.
Because also when I went to when I took the train over, like what you mentioned, Prudential Center is 2 blocks away from Penn Station. I already had tickets that the conductors never even checked. So when it came to taking the train, I was able to use those tickets. But I guess now we should start talking about the game, though. Damian Brunner, he's been red hot as of late. Scored 2 against Columbus. Gets another goal against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Nice backhand forehand move and a great pass by Eric Jelena.
Well, over the last 2 weeks or so, Michael Ryder's really got it going, which I was thrilled to see. Now it seems like Damian Brunner is doing the same thing.
And this, also with Michael Ryder, even though he did not get any points, he had a lot of chances in the third period. He had 2 shifts where I think he had at least 4 or 5 shots. One of them, Lindback made the save with his blocker. The puck went up and went onto the top of the net, and Lindback just put his glove on it. So you can see Ryder was a little frustrated, but at the same time, he played a heck of a night.
The whole team played a good game. Like you said, Jelena, what a beauty pass he had. And, the first period was a little bit boring. The score was 0-0 after 1, especially with how quiet it was in that arena. It kind of dragged a little bit, but once they got into the second period, it opened up a little bit. Then late in the second, Damian
Although Tampa
Brunner,
Bay did look pretty dominant in the second period, the shots were 14-5 in favor of the Lightning.
You know who looked dominant to me? Marty Brodeur.
Absolutely.
How about that glove save he had on?
On Marty robbing Marty.
Yep,
On Marty
that little
St.
leather
Louis.
Marty there. And then he was solid in the third. I thought he made a lot of underrated saves in the third. There was one that squirted out right to the slot. And Brodeur, he was quick. He used great positioning, dropped down really quick, hit him in the chest, rebound popped out, and he
Stopped
threw
the
his
breakaway on
left leg
Kucherov.
out. There was the breakaway. So, he was controlling his rebounds pretty good, I think. There was a couple that squared away from him, but he was able to corral the puck. He was there to make all the saves. And what was it, 33 saves?
33 save shutout. I was
33 save
I was
shutout.
talking to Marty right after the game in the locker room, and one of the things he said, I asked him how it felt, especially with the second period, because he faced a lot of shots. And he said that, teams do that to us a lot, but we were able to weather the storm, and it was very nice. And then the biggest story, I think, was the chemistry again with Jágr and Dinas Zubris. Zubris getting 2 goals in the third period to really just swing it in the Devils' favor.
Zubris, too. Zubris is coming alive, especially being put on this line with Jágr. So Zubris is going, Ryder's going, Brunner's going, Jelena's always been going. This team's coming together, Anthony.
We have to talk about the Jágr-Zubris chemistry because this dates back all the way to their days with the Washington Capitals.
Back in the Stone Age.
Yeah, when I was right next to Yager with his post game interview, and he was taking constant jabs at Zubris, and he's like, when I was in Pittsburgh, I had a 120-point season. Next year, I got traded to Washington, put on his line. I had 70 points. He's like, that's a 50% drop. So all the reporters had a good laugh about that. He's like, not good memories. And then when we were talking to Zubris, Yager was still yapping. Zubris turns to us. He's like, can someone escort him out, please?
Yager's a funny guy. I love listening to his interviews, Yager.
Do you know what he told me? He looked up. I asked him if he had time for questions. I guess he wasn't ready yet because this is before all the reporters went up. He's like, not right now. I'm tired. He looked up at me and he's like, I like your hair. And then he's like, it reminds me of mine when I was your age. So for those who don't know, Yager had the infamous mullet in his days with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And then he told me, don't cut it either. So I wish I had that on record because that was easily the quote of the night.
You see, ladies, I told you, even Jaromir Jagr's complimenting Anthony's hair. It's tremendous.
Yeah.
It's fluffy.
I got Yager's seal of approval. That really made my night.
Do you condition your hair?
Every now and then, yeah.
Every now and then. Hey, that's good. So do I. So what's next?
Well, the Devils are in the midst of a 3-game homestand. Oh, just one more thing about that Lightning game. We discussed it before the show. When I was talking with Matt Laughlin, the radio announcer for the Devils, who actually did an episode a couple weeks ago. And I saw him up in the press box, and he was talking with this, who I just knew as Dave. And I knew that he was the commentator for the Lightning. They're talking about the game against the Red Wings. And then thanks to you, little did I know, that was the Dave Mishkin for the Lightning radio station, the one that goes absolutely crazy after each and every goal, where his call in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals is the exact same as it is on opening night.
This guy's absolutely hilarious. If you haven't heard this guy, Dave Mishkin, look him up on YouTube. Mishkin. Look him up on YouTube. Look at any one of his highlights. He just screams like a dying animal. He sounds like, and it's absolutely hilarious. Not that I think dying animals are funny. Go ahead, Anthony.
And in person, kind of like Matt Laughlin, he had that really deep voice. So it did not cross my mind for a second that I was talking to him, which I think just made the incident a whole lot funnier looking back at it. But he's a great guy. I was talking with him and Matt, so it was very nice to talk about the Lightning Red Wings game. And even though the Lightning got shut out, unfortunately, I probably would have heard him up in the second row behind me if the Lightning actually scored a goal. But unfortunately, that was not the case. Good for the Devils, I guess, since they got the shutout. But it was a good night.
Can we talk about Alexander Ovechkin?
Yes.
Alexander Ovechkin is the best goal scorer in the league. He's an absolute savage. Go ahead and disagree with me.
Why would I disagree with you with that?
Exactly. See, people, he's the best. Now, speaking of the Tampa Bay Lightning, before they came into New Jersey, they had a game against Washington. And in this game against Washington, Alex Ovechkin scored 4 goals, including one with about a minute left that tied the game up and sent it to overtime and a shootout where they eventually won.
And he did it again against Philadelphia.
The most recent game, he scored a goal in the final minute to tie it up against Philly, capping a 4-1. They were down 4-1 with, what was it, like 8 minutes left in the third
8.5 minutes left in the third.
Ovechkin ties it, 49 seconds left. He's the most clutch player in the National Hockey League. I don't care what anybody says.
Well,
and the Caps
people disagree with you because he doesn't produce that much in the playoffs. However, continue.
He produces in the playoffs. It's the rest of the team that doesn't produce in the playoffs. Give him time. Give Ovechkin time.
Oh yeah,
the Washington Capitals, if they tweak their defense a little bit and they find a solidified number 1 goaltender, Washington Capitals be a contender for a number of years.
I don't know why they got rid of Mike Ribeiro either.
Yeah,
look what he's doing in Phoenix. I think in 32 games he has, I want to say, 26 points, 9 goals, 17 assists. He's really stepping it up in the desert.
I've always loved Mike Ribeiro. So what were we saying?
So as you're saying with the Capitals-Philadelphia game?
So yeah, his most recent game against Philadelphia, he did it again. So now what they're talking about with Ovechkin is possibly becoming the first player in a number of years, I think since Mario Lemieux, if I'm correct, to score 50 and 50 goals in 50 games.
I'm not sure if it was Lemieux. I'm thinking it might have been Brett Hull.
Brett Hull, one of those guys. It hasn't been done in at least, I think, 20-something years, though. maybe 30
Yeah, no, it
something.
hasn't been done
This
since
has
the
not been
early
done in
90s.
a long time. In fact, Ovechkin and Steven Stamkos are the only two players since back sometime in the 90s that have even broke 60 goals in a season. So now the fact that they're even talking about Alex Ovechkin possibly hitting the 50 and 50 milestone, especially in this day and age in the National Hockey League, the low scoring and how good the league is now.
How many do you think he'll finish with?
He's on pace for 70.
Do you think he's going to keep up with that pace, though?
I don't think so. I think 50 might be a little bit of a stretch.
Do you think he can get 60, though?
I think Ovechkin, when all said and done, can get 60-something goals to finish this season, assuming he stays healthy. And in terms of 50, he's got 27 and 31 right now. And he looks better at this point in the season than he has all
He's
season.
going to need to get a couple of hat tricks, though, and maybe even well, I was going to say Ovech trick, but I was talking with one fan, and I brought this up. I think that stupid Verizon commercial where Ovechkin scores 9 goals. This is what I think is the real Ovech trick, something that he actually did. Knocking in the puck, the goalie, and a defenseman into the net all in one hit. Do you remember when Ovechkin hit Hal Gill and Carey Price into the net and the puck slid in?
Yes, I do.
That disallowed the goal, but I think anybody who saw that event would say that was probably one of the best moments from Ovechkin, just showing his sheer power, which, I mean, I just love, and I think that is the true Ovech trick.
Alexander Ovechkin's a very dynamic player. Like you said, his physicality is incredible too. He's one of the best hitters in the league as far as I'm concerned. He can throw his weight around. He's such a passionate, emotional leader for that team, and he's the best goal scorer in the league. So people that rip on Ovechkin or say that they wouldn't want Ovechkin on their team, I think are a little bit silly.
Maybe they're just jealous that he's not on their team.
Now, the Devils are going to play the Ottawa Senators. Well, the Ottawa Senators are coming to play the Devils, right?
Yeah.
That's the tomorrow night game. So what do you think about that game, Anthony? What do the Devils got to do?
Well, we were talking about it before the show. There's a young goaltender coming up for Ottawa, Robin Leonard.
Robin
Leonard.
as in, Robin the shooters,
Yeah.
right?
And, all right, that's a good way to put it. And he played pretty well yesterday against the St. Louis Blues, including a pad stack save. So for anybody that wants to see, I'm sure it's still up on NHL.com. Probably the first highlight that does not include the name Sidney Crosby. So you can definitely take a look at that. But I think the Devils just need to carry their momentum. But the only problem is they only got 19 shots on goal for the game against Tampa. They're going to have to put more pucks on net if they want to continue getting goals.
Definitely, because now these Ottawa Senators are not having the best of years. Nothing like they did in the half season last year. They're really fighting for a playoff spot in that division. I don't know if it's going to happen for them. But that being said, this is an Ottawa team that's very deep, that can beat you in a number of ways. They have a number of skilled goalies that can shut you down on any given night. So like you said, the Devils are just going to have to keep up the pressure, keep peppering shots on this goalie. I'm not sure who's playing yet. I don't know. My computer's dead. My phone is dead. So I have no updates in terms of who's playing or anything. Lineups, I don't know. Injury update, by the way. Clough is close to return, as he has been for like the past 2 months, they've been saying. So, also Salvador is close to return. So we're going to be getting some players back. Once that's a defenseman and a forward, we get these guys back, Anthony. Who do we send down?
I don't know. I'd say Jacob Josephson, because looking at that fourth line, I mean, Cam Jansen, as painful as it is to watch him skate, I mean, he hasn't been too bad. He's getting hits. He's working very well with Tim Sestito, another very pleasant surprise. I really like the way that Sestito plays. Like him and Jansen, they're like the Bash brothers. They're not afraid to hit people, and even against Pittsburgh in the first period when they had that very awful period giving up 3 goals, the fourth line was the best one out there.
And Cam Jansen's two-way game has been very good. I've noticed, he backchecks. He's broken up a number of defensive plays. Whenever he's out there, he's not so much of a defensive liability anymore. The fourth line isn't. Jansen's really, and he throws his body around. Jansen's a solid player.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't think this stands anymore. How he used to have more goals than Claude Giroux. It was fun while it lasted. You said that Giroux has 7 or 8 goals now at this point.
I think so, something around there, 6 maybe.
And I think when he scored against the Rangers, that was when he got to 1 goal behind Damian Brunner, but then Brunner getting those 3 goals, 2 against Columbus, 1 against the Lightning. So, but he's still a very fun player to watch. I agree with you. His ice time has been improving or increasing as of late, especially with Tim Sestito working right on his side. And unfortunately, I think one of them might go, even though I think Josephson should be the one sent back down for Ryan Clough. But I think for defense with Bryce Salvador, moving on to him, I think that I guess I'd say it's a fairly easy decision. They need to send John Merrill back down to the minors.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Not that he's been bad. It's just his lack of experience.
He has potential, but
Yes.
he has not played a full season in Albany yet. I think this was his first season in Albany. Eric Jalina, he's already played a full season in Albany last year. He's already played a couple of games before being sent up about a month and a half into the season. So if anybody needs to get back down, it's John Merrill and have Salvador come back.
And that's it. In terms of goalies, Brodeur played excellent against Tampa Bay. Corey Schneider, he's an excellent goalie. So whichever goalie's in net, I'm comfortable with, as always. I think it should be a good game. You got any predictions, Anthony? Any predictions down there?
I don't know. I think this one might be a 3-2 game. So I think this one could literally go either way. I think as Devil fans, though, we just hope that it does not go into a shootout.
No. I was going to say 4-2 Devils.
You think 4-2 Devils?
4-2 Devils. That's my big prediction. Can we talk about the Rangers now? Can we rip on the Rangers for a little bit?
Okay, fine.
The Rangers are on a 9-game homestand, which I believe is the longest in franchise history.
Well, also because they played an entire
They opened
month
the season. Yeah, they opened the season
on the road.
So they're back at the Garden now for 9 games. They lost the first 4 of them, I believe. And then they played this one against the Calgary Flames, and they nearly lost that one too.
They won the shootout, though.
They did win in a shootout. It was a very long, dragged-out shootout because every time the Rangers would score, Lundqvist would give one up, so it took a while for the Rangers to pull out a W.
Then Benoit Pouliot and Peter Forsberg with the one-handed deke, so I tipped the Broadway hat to him. It was a very nice move.
Oh, yeah, it was beautiful. Every single player in the league does it. Now you see it every shootout, but beautiful. Good on Pouliot there. So now the Rangers, they got the Penguins on Wednesday night. That's not going to be an easy
Sidney
matchup.
Crosby loves to play in the Garden.
He
I mean,
does.
it seems like every time I see him play the Rangers, especially, he'll be coming in backhand on Lundqvist, go short side, high glove. So I don't usually root for the Penguins, but if it means keeping the Rangers below us in the standings, then what the hell? Go Penguins.
I completely agree. And, I hate rooting for the Penguins, though. I wish that's a game that just both teams could lose.
I mean, I will say this, though. I mean, you're talking about Ovechkin,
Right.
but also looking at Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin. Those two are excellent playmakers.
They're incredible hockey players.
Ovechkin is a pure goal scorer. And I thought Malkin would be the same way. Didn't he get 50 goals his rookie year? He got the Calder Trophy, I think 06,
Something like
07. He has developed into a very good playmaker, setting up guys like Pascal Dupuis, Chris Kunitz. And, I think Malkin has 30-something assists already. It's just unbelievable.
There was something I was going to say about the Rangers, but I can't remember now.
Well, I know you're going to bring up something else, which we'll bring into Clancy's Crease. However, maybe we'll give it another minute or two. Or do you want to start up right now?
No, you keep talking. Let me think what I was going to say.
Well,
See, now you got the spotlight on you. Now you got nothing to say.
well, who do the Rangers play after, or who do the Rangers play next? I mean, after the Penguins.
I don't know. What do I look like, a Ranger fan?
I don't know.
I got their
but,
whole schedule memorized.
But then after the game against the Senators, the Devils will be playing the Anaheim Ducks. And 2 consecutive games with New Jersey natives. Bobby Ryan, who used to be on the Ducks, now he's with the Ottawa Senators. Then Kyle Palmieri will be playing for the Ducks. I believe he's from Montvale, and Bobby Ryan's from Cherry Hill. So, two very nice games for some New Jersey natives going back to the Prudential Center.
Very good. Okay, so let's jump into Clancy's Crease then.
All right, for all your news in the goaltending world of the National Hockey League, I present to you Clancy's Crease.
Henrik Lundqvist has signed a new contract to stay with the New York Rangers, be a Ranger for life. You know, we heard the same thing from Covey, didn't we? This contract for Henrik Lundqvist is 7 years, and it pays him $8.5 million a year, which is over $100,000, assuming he plays about 60 games a year. That's over $100,000 per game. So, you know, if you want to talk about ridiculous overpaying contracts, this, I would say, is one of them. I would not say Henrik Lundqvist is worth $8.5 million. I don't think there's any goalie in the league worth $8.5 million. If it was up to me, and I don't know, you know, what he was demanding or what his agent was demanding, if I'm the Rangers, though, I would offer him maybe a 5 or 6 year deal for $7 million a year. But that would be about as far as I would be willing to go. But, you know, good for Lundqvist. I guess he could say he earned it, even though, you know, he played behind Tortorella's defensive system and you know, he played on a very good Ranger team for a number of years. I'm not saying that Lundqvist is not a very good goalie. He's a very good goalie, and his numbers through the past several years, 7 or 8 years that he's been in the league, have been very consistent and very impressive. So maybe he has earned this. I think I think the Rangers overpaid a little bit this year. He's not doing all that good with his smaller pads without Tortorella there. In my opinion, he's the most disappointing goalie. And I read some idiotic article on Bleacher Report. Now, listen, this is why you should never go on Bleacher Report. I've been saying this since sophomore year of high school, that Bleacher Report sucks. They did, you know how they always do like those lists?
Yep.
It was ranking the 30 most disappointing goalies so far this season or something. They had Marty Brodeur as number 1, and Henrik Lundqvist I don't even think was in the top 10.
Well, okay, I saw that too. And I don't know if there are two things that I think I disagree with. First off, I don't know if he should have been number 1. I guess, though, the writer thought that Brodeur would be dominant like usual. And in all fairness, he hasn't. But what he wrote, though, how puzzlingly so that the Devils do not start Schneider over Brodeur, I can agree with. Because you look at his numbers, Brodeur, his save percentage is below 90%. His goals against average is higher than usual. But I think the one thing that, because he made it seem like, why are the Devils starting him? The one reason that I guess he didn't really talk about that much is the fact that the Devils just happened to score when Brodeur's in net.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I still stand by the fact that Schneider is the better goaltender. I still think he should get more starts. But, I mean, if the Devils' offense just inexplicably scores when Marty's in net, then whatever works for the team, I guess.
I don't know why everybody's so baffled, though, that Brodeur is getting... And people make it seem like Brodeur's starting almost every game, like he did 4 seasons ago when he started 70 games. He's not. They're basically splitting the season. Brodeur has, I think, 4 more games started than Corey Schneider. It's basically even. And I saw this coming. I knew Brodeur would probably get the majority of the starts. I don't know why everybody else is so surprised. You look at my preseason predictions. I had Brodeur having the edge by, I think, 5-6 games or so. But I had them basically splitting the season, which is what's going on. And Brodeur is playing well, in my opinion. Corey Schneider's playing very well. And the Devils seem to get wins more often when Marty Brodeur's in the net. So I wouldn't say he's been a disappointment at all this year.
No, I don't think I would either. But, I mean, actually...
He's tied for the league.
I think I'll back up a little bit. Yes, he does have shutouts, but you have to keep in mind, he'll post a shutout, but then the next game, he may give up a couple soft goals. So consistency has been a bit of a problem for Marty. So he will have very, very good games, but then there are games where it just doesn't look very good.
How about that soft goal that Corey Schneider gave up against the Penguins less than a minute in?
That was hands down Schneider's worst game of the season. I can say that with confidence. That first goal was pretty soft. I initially thought that he covered it. The referee, always siding with the league's most favorite team, decided to hold out. But looking at the replay, good job from the production truck. He didn't really control it. So, yeah, that one was on Schneider. But tough game for him, at least a tough first period. But then he bounced back for the other two. But, yeah, I guess you can say that was the one bad game I've seen from him all year.
Keeping it rolling now with Clancy's Crease, and speaking of the Penguins, I was watching a little bit of the Penguin-Toronto Maple Leaf game last night, and there was a play where the puck came into the zone, there's a Penguin racing for it, and Jonathan Bernier, goalie for Toronto, he's racing for it because, he doesn't want the Penguin to get a breakaway and have a very good chance of scoring.
The Penguin was a rookie. I think it was Megna, I think.
Their entire lineup's rookies. Have you seen their injuries?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't recognize a single name past the second line. Anyway, so they're racing for the puck, and Jonathan Bernier slides out, and he goes down on one knee and bats the puck away with his stick, and then the two players collided. And these Penguin commentators, Anthony, boggle my mind. They're calling for a penalty for Bernier. He's saying it should be a penalty on Bernier for, I really don't know what. Interference, maybe, I don't know. They were both going for the puck, though. My whole thing is, okay, Bernier, number one, Bernier got the puck first before there was any contact. They're complaining, I guess, that Bernier didn't try to avoid contact, but neither did the Penguin. They're both racing for the puck. And since when is a goalie not allowed to make contact with a player anyway? They sure as hell do it to us all the time.
Well, you know what they say. Anybody that has the audacity to hit a Pittsburgh Penguin should automatically be sent to the box, Sean. I thought you would know that by now.
To be fair, after the commercial break and watching the replay, the Penguins commentators retracted their idiotic comments. Okay? To be fair. However, these guys are idiots. The way they flip out and get all defensive about their team whenever one of them gets hit or appears to be hurt.
It was a very nice hip check, though, by Bernier. I will give him
It was a
credit for
great
that.
play by Bernier. It was an excellent play by Bernier. Penguin commentators are just upset they didn't sit back in his goal crease and just let the little Penguin there come and dipsy-doodle his way into the net. So that's all I got for Clancy's Crease, Anthony.
One more bit of goaltending. Mike Smith changed his mask again.
Did he?
Yeah, I mean, it's, anybody who's listened to the show before, you probably know by now, I have an unhealthy obsession with Mike Smith's mask. It has Wile E. Coyote on it. It used to be almost like a CGI kind of thing. Then he put a Jacques Plante kind of mask on him.
Right.
Now it looks a little bit more like the classic, like more animated version of Wile E. And he's off at a bit of an angle. It looked like the Michael Telquist's mask, who also had one at when he played for Phoenix. So if you have a chance, maybe next time you see a Coyotes game, take a look at the mask. It's very nice. My personal favorite, but
So keep an eye out for Mike Smith's mask.
I guess as I said before, the Coyotes, they're facing the Canadiens tonight. So Ribeiro's facing his former team, and I think I might have brought this up before. Sean Burke is the goaltending coach for the Coyotes. I think probably one of the best in the NHL because looking at Thomas Greiss, he's the current backup for Phoenix. He's also playing very well.
There's a lot of backups that are playing very well because there's a lot of goalie injuries this year. It's weird. The amount of teams that have used 3 goalies already this young in the season.
I think I told you this before too, Sean. Now in the NHL, you need 2 very good goaltenders, not just have one really good goaltender and then one average goaltender. Because right now the goaltenders are starting to rotate a little bit more.
I'm still in favor of having a starting goalie that plays upwards of 70 games. I'm old school.
That was a debate we had last week, I believe. But
National Maple Syrup Day. People, get out there, bring your kids, bring your wife, bring your grandparents, get a little IHOP in your life.
I'm sure this is a holiday that Dustin Penner does not enjoy.
That's a joke, and I know it's a joke. You made it on Hockey at the Hall last year, and I didn't get it then. I don't care for you to explain it now.
Got an injury eating pancakes. Okay, well,
So
that
that's
just
it.
about wraps up this episode of Hockey at the Hall. This has been your host, Anthony DiPaolo.
And I'm Sean Clancy.
And be sure to tune in next week.